Hello everybody, Dee Dee, the occupational therapist here. Today we're going to work on some hand strengthening techniques and exercises. So some students sometimes have issues with low tone in their hands, like it can be hard to hold a pencil for a long time, it can be hard to manipulate toys or play with Play-Doh or open packaging for eating or even bringing the food within their fingertips. So some little exercises I wanted to show, some options you choose, and depending where your kid is at and what might work for them, you decide if that exercise is good for you. So I'm going to show you a few different things that I have. One is this just regular old hand grip exerciser. You can get these at the Dollar Tree or at the 99-cent store. And these are just really good for simple hanging out, where you can just open and close the hand. This is particularly hard. So this is if you have a pretty strong kid and you just want to work on some hand strengthening to refine it a little bit more. This is a good option. Another thing that you can use if you don't have one of those is just a paper and a regular hole puncher. So these ones help with hand strengthening too, and you can make it fun by putting, like, for example, with a marker, putting dots along the edge, and this helps with precision as well. So not only are they doing strengthening, they're also trying to get the hole puncher over the dot, and that's a good way to work on precision with this particular activity. Okay, so that's another option. Another one is using these kitchen tongs. So there's different ways you can use them. One way is you can set up toys that would fit in the tong, and then let's say like a Tupperware container on the side, and they have to pick up these items and put them in the container. Another option is cotton balls or those little fuzzy play balls you can get. The reason tongs are good is that you can also work on your tripod grasp with a tong. So a good way to do that and getting the back fingers down as you would if you're holding a pencil, for example. See a tripod grasp. This is called the power side of the hand, where the pinky and the ring finger are bent down, and this is the precision side of the hand, which is the area where we use our fine motor muscles to write. So we have more motor control on this side and use this side for stabilization. So that's why tongs help us develop this side of the hand, the precision side of the hand. We might not be refined enough yet to use a writing tool, but we can use tongs. And a way to encourage these two fingers to come down is you can put a cotton ball in their palm and say hold on to it, or a little toy and say hold on to it, don't let it fall, don't let it fall. And then that way they're only using the precision side of their hand to complete the task. So that's how you would use tongs and to promote a tripod grasp using those front three fingers. Another one, this is just a little froggy toy. You can get these at the 99-cent store somewhere. You can also do it with just putting coins at the edge of a table and pushing them down. So these little bouncing toys, they help with the pointer. So prior to a tripod grasp, we have to control our pointer first, because that's going to go onto the top of the pencil. So some kids don't have a refined pointer yet, and we need to work just on the pointer. So this is a good toy for that, because you can push it down, and then the frog bounces up. Let's bring the camera just a little bit closer over here so you can see. See how I'm using my pointer to do that. Great. Okay, so then another hand strengthening game that you can create at home that's really easy is with a tennis ball. I like to call this guy Tennis Man. And oftentimes when I'm in therapy sessions, I'll say, I'm so hungry, I need to eat. And inside you can use coins or little toys that might fit. I have like a little Lego and then little round chips. And I'll lay them out on a table like such. And I'll ask the kids, can you feed me? I'm so hungry. And I put this in their hand after I make that slit in the face so they feel like it's a puppet. And if I need to, go hand over hand to squeeze the ball so they can get the hand strength. Some of them might not be strong enough to squeeze the ball. Once the mouth is open, then they have to use their other hand to put the coin in. So we're working on a pretty big skill here. We're working on hand strength on one side, we're working on precision with the other hand, and we're working on a tripod or pincer grasp to pick up the coin or the toy in order to insert it into the mouth of this toy. Also, what we're working on is bilateral coordination. So one hand is doing something while the other hand is doing a completely different thing. And that relates to writing, for example, because when we're writing, we write with one hand and hold the paper with the other. When we're cutting, we have bilateral coordination here also, where we're cutting with one hand. Let's say I have to cut out a circle. I'm going to draw a quick circle. We're cutting with one hand and moving the paper in a completely different way than what our one hand is doing, our dominant hand to cut. And our helper hand is doing a completely different task here by turning the paper. Okay, so those are some hand strengthening activities. Another thing that I have that's a simple one is just snipping. So let's say your kid isn't at cutting yet and you just want to practice opening and closing the scissors. Snipping is a great way to practice that. You just get the edge of a paper and you can just say snip, 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 snip. Or you can practice just open, close, open, close. Song is a really good way to promote movement, and the reason is because it paces the child. So sometimes, like for example, let's say I want them to cut along a line. A kid might cut along a line and get stuck just here in snipping because that's all the skill they have is snipping. So let's say I want them to move forward. A song that I use sometimes is, this is like an alligator. I explain it's an alligator mouth. And I go, alligator, alligator, chomp, chomp, chomp. And they go forward. And again, it's because of the song that they're able to pace and know what is supposed to come next. And it allows them to improve their cutting skills and hand strength as a result. This is my final little tidbit about hand strengthening exercises. This is Theraputty. You can buy this online. You don't need to use Theraputty. You can just use Play-Doh depending on the hand strength of your kid. So the reason I use Theraputty is because the different colors have different resistances. So this one, for example, is a pretty strong resistance compared to, let's say, the yellow Theraputty, which is less resistance than the orange one. You're welcome just to use Play-Doh. You don't need to go get Theraputty. The thing that's nice about Theraputty, though, is that you can do a lot of different exercises with the putty and it stays together. But if you make a pretty good batch of Play-Doh or your Play-Doh is pretty new, that's okay too. All right, so I'm going to show you a few activities that you can do with Theraputty. One is you can hide toys or Play-Doh. You can hide toys inside of it and then close it up. And you can tell your child, okay, it's time to find the toys inside of, let's say, the lava or whatever they're into, the sand, finding the toys in the dirt. And then they have to use their fingers to find the toy and manipulate the item until they find it, and then they have to pull it out. And again, you want to promote that pincer grasp to pull out the toy. So here's another toy, another chip. Ooh, pulling it out. That's really good. You can make this super fun for the kids, and you can keep hiding more pieces as they find more pieces, and they really have to use their fingers to feel a difference between what this texture feels like versus what this chip may feel like. Okay, so that's one exercise. Another one is to do a little workout routine. I like to call it like the snake routine with the TheraPutty or the Play-Doh. So first we put it on the table and we say, let's make a ball. So we practice just moving clockwise and then counterclockwise until we get something that looks or resembles a ball. TheraPutty is also nice because it bounces. So after you make the ball, you can actually bounce it and test how round your ball is. Okay, and then after the ball, I like to say, let's make a snake. And we'll practice some sounds. So we go snake, and that's a good way to also use your speech skills, speech production, and just bring it together in one treatment if you're working on something with speech therapy. So now we have our snake. And I also can use song here like roll, roll, roll your dough until you make a snake. And you can make up whatever you want. Just singing is always good to promote movement. Okay, so now we have this cool snake that we made. It's nice and long. So one exercise, if we're working on our pointer, is to just push down along the snake. So we can say we're making scales for the snake. We can just say push. You can come up with whatever feels creative or needed for your child. And once you went all the way down, now it's more flat. So now we want to pinch the snake. So we went from our pointer to our pincher, and we're going to pinch, 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 pinch. And even I'm getting kind of tired, so you can imagine what that fatigue might feel like for your kid if there's some low tone in the hand. So those were our two exercises for the pointer and the pincher. Now I want to work on an advanced skill, which is rotating the wrist and bringing using the precision of your pointer to make just a roll. So you don't have to do this one. I just do this one as if I feel that they can handle it. And then I say, we turned our snake into a snail. And then you can put a little head on your snail if you want. And then you can put a little tail. Or you can pick whatever you want to put the tail that you might have around the house. Okay, so those are our little hand exercises that we use with TheraPutty or Play-Doh. I hope that these activities make sense and work well for you and your family, or give you some ideas on some things to do to build some hand strength, some dexterity, and some precision. These are all pre-writing tasks, and we're working on trying to get to promote a tripod grasp so we can write, color, scribble more effectively, and also cut more effectively. Thanks for coming.